4K. Okay, so now these are the incoming outgoing currents. So this is the voltage V minus 0. You have to put a reference. So this is a 0 volt. So V minus 0 divided by 2K for the current which is flowing through this 2 kilo ohm resistor that I have written here. Then the current which is flowing through this 3 kilo ohm resistor can be written like this: V, that is the voltage at this point, minus 1, that is the voltage of this voltage source, then that is equal to Vx divided by 4K, that is nothing but the incoming current. Okay, so now you just rewrite this equation. If you rewrite this equation, we can find the value of Vx and V. So here we are having only one equation, and we are having two variables. Already we have fixed the value of Vx as 1. Okay, so you just substitute the value of Vx as 1, and you just rewrite this expression so that you can find the voltage that is available at this node. The voltage at this node with respect to the ground is nothing but V is equal to 0.7 volt. Okay, so here what I have done here, for this node I know the voltage is V volt, then the current flowing through this 3 kilo ohm resistor is, that is what we need to find. I is equal to V minus the another voltage, that is Vx here, divided by 3K. Okay, that is the current flowing through this path, right? So based on this, just a minute. Okay, actually I think there is some mistake, there may be some mistake. I will check it on and tell you tomorrow. uh, I will check it out once and I will get back to you regarding this. Okay, so I don't remember why I have done like this. So I will discuss about this in the next class only for this RThevenin, but the procedure is same. We can apply nodal analysis at that point, then we can find it out. Then again, let us try it on your own. Let us try it here. Just a minute. Okay, fine. So sorry. Okay, this is correct, no issues. I got confused with this. Okay, so this is outgoing current. So this is written here, V minus 0 divided by 2K, and here this is this current V minus 0 divided by 2K, and this is the current which is outgoing, that is V minus 1 divided by 3K. Here the voltage at this terminals is 1 volt, so I have directly taken V minus 1 divided by 3K, and this is nothing but the incoming current. The incoming current is nothing but Vx divided by 4000, that I have written as Vx divided by 4K. Okay, so if you rewrite this expression, then we can find Vx is equal to Vx as this based on this above equation. Then we already know that the Vx is nothing but 1 volt, because Vx is nothing but the voltage across the terminals A and B. So because of that, we have taken Vx is equal to 1 volt here. So from this above expression, we got this. Then you can substitute the value for Vx here. Then you can find the value of V, that is coming as 0.7 volt. So now what we have found V, and we have already known Vx. So the current passing through this 3 kilo ohm resistor is nothing but ISC is equal to Vx minus V divided by 3K. Why? Because I have considered that ISC as the current coming out of the source. So I have written like this. Okay, the current coming out of the source can be written by this voltage, that is voltage of this source minus voltage of this divided by this 3K can give the voltage, can give the current coming out of the voltage source. So that I have obtained it here. ISC is equal to Vx minus V divided by 3K. So if you find like this, that they have found it out here, 1 minus this is Vx and this is V minus Vx minus V divided by 3K is equal to 0.1 10 to the power of minus 3. Okay, so the RThevenin can be obtained using V test divided by ISC. This is nothing but Vx or V test. So that is given by 1 divided by 0.1 10 to the power of minus 3. So the RThevenin can be obtained like this. Now, why we have applied the test source? We have applied the test source because there is some independent source available in the circuit. There is some dependent source available in the circuit. When you have dependent source alone in the circuit, here for the dependent source, you are having one control variable, that is Vx. So you cannot know the value of Vx unless there is some current or voltage you know about the circuit. Here we do not have anything to find the RTH directly. Okay, so what I'm saying is we have to find the RTH. In order to find the RTH, what do we need to do? We have to short circuit the independent voltage source and open circuit the independent current source. So if you want to find the RTH across the terminals A and B, you can see here that the dependent source is having a voltage of Vx divided by 4000. So this Vx value is depending on the voltage across this terminal. Okay, but we do not know any voltage across this because there is no current flow in the circuit. If you do not know the current flow through this circuit, it is not possible for you to find the voltage across this terminal, right? At least you should be having some voltage magnitude or current to find the voltage of this. So we cannot find the Vx directly. So if we cannot find the Vx directly, we cannot find the RThevenin for this circuit. So in order to find RThevenin, we have to apply a test voltage source. If you apply a test voltage source here, then it will provide some current. So the voltage source which you are applying, that is going to have certain magnitude. So that voltage magnitude divided by the current which is coming out of the voltage source, it's going to decide the RThevenin. Why we are saying it is going to give the RThevenin? The current coming out of the voltage source is completely depending on the circuit elements available. Okay, whatever the complete circuit element is available, depending on that circuit element, you are going to have the current. So if some X current is going, obviously it is going to flow it to the equivalent resistance of the circuit. So we are considering that as the RThevenin here. Okay, so now what we did, we have found the VThevenin and we have found the RThevenin for the circuit. Then obviously this is the Thevenin equivalent circuit. So now the same can be applied for the Norton theorem. For Norton theorem, as we have already discussed yesterday, you should short the load terminals and you should find the current flowing through this. That is called as a Norton. For finding the R Norton, it is the same procedure, whatever we had discussed here. Same procedure, we have to follow it. Okay, is it clear? If you have any doubt, you can ask, else let us proceed further. Okay, fine. So let me proceed. So the maximum power transfer theorem, this is the last topic of our subject. So here, consider these three circuits. These are very simple circuits. Among these circuits, you consider that the resistor which is connected across this terminals A and B is called as the load resistance. This is the load resistance. This is also load resistance. This is also load resistance. Now, what I am doing is I am finding the current. Okay, and I am finding the power. Okay, so if you have three circuits like this, you can see this part is constant. You can consider that as a Thevenin equivalent circuit. This part you can see all these three are same. There is no difference. So you can see that this can be considered like a Thevenin equivalent circuit. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place different values for the load resistance. 1, 2, and 3. Three values I have given. Then I am finding the current through the circuit. Then I am going to check the power dissipated in the load. What I am finding? I am finding the power dissipated in the load. Okay. So for this first circuit, you can see here that what is the current can flow through this? That is nothing but 4 divided by 3, right? So if I find the power dissipation of this resistor, it can be given by I square R. So that is written here. I square is the current, I is the current flowing through this path, and R is the load resistance value. So you can see here that I am getting the power value as 1.77 watts for the first circuit. For the second circuit, what is the current which will flow here? I is equal to 4 divided by 2 plus 2. Total voltage divided by total resistance. So here you will be getting 1 ampere. Okay. So I is something here. So here you can see that if you find the power dissipation across the load, it is coming as 2 watts. Okay, then you see this third circuit. In this circuit, what you are doing, you are going to find the current. So that current will be coming as 4 divided by 2 plus 3. It is coming as 0.8 ampere. So if you square it, you will be getting 0.8 square into 3. That is nothing but 1.92 watts. Okay, what is the inference which you need to see from here is, here, the load resistance is for all the cases, the Thevenin resistance is 2 ohm. For the first case, the load resistance is 1 ohm. For the second case, the load resistance is 2 ohm. And for the third case, the load resistance is 3 ohm. Now you compare the load resistance with the Thevenin resistance. Here, for this particular case, the load resistance is less than Thevenin resistance. For this case, the load resistance is equal to Thevenin resistance. For this case, the load resistance is greater than Thevenin resistance. So you can see the power dissipation for the individual resistance. For this case, that is the second case, you can see clearly that when the load resistance is same as Thevenin equivalent value, then you are getting the maximum power loss which is available or power dissipated in the load. Okay, so the maximum power transfer theorem says that whenever you are having the load resistance that is same as the Thevenin resistance, this is R Thevenin. For let's consider that this is the Thevenin equivalent circuit, this is R Thevenin. So if the load resistance is made equal to the Thevenin resistance, then only we can able to transfer maximum power to the load. Okay, so your motive is to transfer the maximum available power to the load. Then you have to match this load resistance as the Thevenin resistance. If your load resistance is 100 ohm, then if your Thevenin resistance is 100 ohm, then your load resistance should be 100 ohm. Then only you will get the maximum power. Why I am saying this? Here for this case, you can see that the RL is lesser than R Thevenin. Here you can see that the RL is greater than R Thevenin. For both of these cases, the power dissipation is less than 2 watts. Okay, but when R Thevenin is equal to R load, then at that time you can see that there is a maximum power dissipated across the load. So the point to be noted here is, when you want to transfer the maximum power from source to load, for this case you have to match the load resistance as the Thevenin equivalent resistance value. Okay, this RTH is fixed. This RTH is fixed, so you can vary only the RL. So in order to make the maximum power transfer, you have to make this RL value equivalent to RTH in order to transfer the maximum power available. Okay, so this is applicable only for communication people. Okay, in other words, you can say that this is applicable only for ECE people where they use communication. Okay, in electrical, especially in power system point of view, it is not at all helpful. Okay, why I am saying it is not at all helpful is, you see here, if I use this for communication, I will get the maximum power as we have discussed before. But in power system perspective or in electrical system perspective, I should able to transfer the power at maximum efficiency. Okay, so we will check what is the maximum efficiency for this particular circuit. Okay, so let us consider that the maximum power which can be dissipated to this 2 ohm resistor is 2 watts. Okay, in that case, the power dissipation across this 2 ohm resistor is also 2 watts. Then in that case, what is the power supplied by this source? The power supplied by this source is 4 watts. 2 watts is dissipated here and another 2 watts is dissipated here. So if I calculate the efficiency in the sense output divided by input into 100. So here the output is 2 watts and the input is 4 watts. The efficiency I will get, it's, if I multiply by 100, I will get 50 percentage. With this 50 percentage efficiency, I cannot run the power system or I cannot operate the electrical system with this 50 percentage efficiency. So this is the maximum power transfer theorem. It's mainly applicable for the communication purpose. It can never be used for electrical side or power system side because it is going to have the maximum efficiency of 50 percentage. Okay, so because it is going to have maximum efficiency of 50 percentage, we cannot use the maximum power transfer theorem to transfer the maximum power to the load in electrical system. Okay, so this is applicable only for communication perspective. Okay, because in electrical power system, the efficiency of the power supplied should be very high. Okay, for example, if you say that I am having 1000 watts generation, okay, then your low, if I am able to supply only 500 watts and 500 watts will be lost in the as a power loss in the line, then this is going to be a huge loss for me because for generating 1000 watts I will be spending like crores of amount. I'm just saying it for an example like 1000 watts, but generally we will be generating in gigawatts or mega. Let's say you can consider like this megawatt 10 to the power of 6 side, right? So if I am generating 1 megawatt or 2 megawatt, let's say, I will be sending crores and crores of amount to generate this 2 megawatt of power. But if i I am able to send only one megawatt to the load, it is a huge loss for me because no one is going to pay for me for the power losses which is occurred in the line. Only the power, which only the energy whichever you have consumed from the load, that only the consumer will pay. For the power dissipation in the line, they will not pay it to me. So if I have spent 2 crores for generating this power, 1 crore of money will be lost in the transmission losses itself. So this is not suitable for power system or electrical system perspective. For communication perspective, this is more than sufficient. So even the power will be very much higher. So what is the maximum power which you are able to transfer? That much power you should be able to transfer in communication. So this is very much useful for the maximum power transfer theorem. Okay, so if you plot it, you will be getting a plot like this. Okay, so means what is this is the power dissipated in the loss. This is the power dissipated in the loss. You will be getting maximum power dissipated only when your RL is equal to RTH. Just a minute. Okay, when your RL is equal to RTH, if you are varying the RL, if you are varying the RL in this fashion, so if it is less than, if your RL value is less than RTH, you will get less power. Similarly, if your RL is greater than RTH, you will be getting less power in the load end. Whereas when you are making this RL equal to the RTH, you will be getting the maximum power available that can be dissipated in the load. Okay, so let us go in the more detailed manner. So here in practical conditions, we will not consider this for the electrical system point of view. This is suitable for communication point of view. So here one more point you should notice, here the complete part is fixed. Here the complete part is fixed and you can change only the load resistance, that is RL. I repeat, for this maximum power transfer theorem, you are not going to change anything on this source and Thevenin resistance, and this is the load resistance. only the load resistance, this is R Thevenin actually, only the load resistance you are going to change. Okay, in that case, the power can be obtained using this formula. Power is nothing but I square into R. So the current flowing through the circuit can be find it out using I is equal to V divided by RTH plus RL, RTH plus RL. So the current flowing through that can be obtained like this. Then I square can be given by square of this term. Okay, so now when you are having RL is equal to RTH, you can supply the maximum power supplied to the load. Okay, so this is the graph. So in order to obtain the maximum power transfer theorem, and if you are plotting the maximum power or power with respect to the load resistance, then the maximum power dissipated at the load. I'm talking about the maximum power dissipated at the load, not the power dissipated on this. I'm talking about the maximum power dissipated on the load. So if you want the maximum power dissipated on the load should be maximum, then that should be equal to the Thevenin resistance. Okay, so this is the figure which I have, this is the plot which I had discussed before. So if you want to do the analysis analytically, then what should you do? Okay, so here what I have done, first I have found the power dissipated on the load when you are having certain current. Okay, you know that in order to find the maximum power or minimum power, what do? You do differentiation. Those things you will do, right? Same kind of thing you will be doing here. What we are going to do, we are going to do the maximum power that can be transferred to the load. Okay, when we can obtain the maximum power transfer, that we are going to see in analytical point of view. This P RL is equal to, okay, P is equal to I square into RL. I square we wrote it as VTH divided by RTH plus RL, then whole square, this is I square, so into RL. So this term we are going to differentiate it. Here with respect to RL you need to differentiate, because only RL is the variable. Since only RL is the variable, you have to differentiate with respect to the RL. So if you differentiate this equation with respect to RL, we are having two things. One is one RL here and another RL here. So this is like U by V. So if you differentiate that, you will be getting V VU dash minus VU dash minus UV dash. That is what I have written. So VTH square I have taken outside. Then V is nothing but RTH plus RL square. That I have written it here. Then U dash is differentiation of RL with respect to RL. So you will be getting 1 here. Then you are getting UV dash. Then U is nothing but RL. I have taken as it is. Then in the denominator you are getting RTH plus RL the whole square. That is, I have taken differentiation. I have written it as 2 into RTH plus RL divided by V square. That is given by RTH plus RL the whole power 4. Okay. So now you just expand this equation. If you expand this equation, we will be getting RTH square here and RL square here. Then you will be getting from this you will be also getting 2 RL RTH a plus b the whole square. Then here you will be getting minus 2 RL RTH, that is given here, and 2 minus 2 into RL square, that is given here. 2 RL is there, so it is written as minus 2 RL square. Okay, now these two are common terms. You just cancelled out. Then you put the complete equation equal to 0. What we have done, we have differentiated the equation and we have put it equal to 0. So if you substitute it equal to 0, then whatever the values you will get, we will be getting it for the maximum power. So what we have done, we have taken this expression from the power, then we have differentiated it. Then after you differentiated it, you have made it to equal to 0. Then we are going to find the value of the available unknowns. Okay, so here the unknown is RL is the unknown. So we are making it to 0 and we wanted to find the RL. So once you make this to 0, so this term will become 0 if you cross multiply it, and this VTH also will become 0 if you cross multiply it. So that complete these two things can be taken to the right hand side and it will become 0. The remaining expression you will be getting is RTH square plus RL square minus 2 RL square. So here one RL square is there. So here you can cancel this. Now you are getting RTH square minus RL square is equal to 0. So if you rewrite this expression, you can rewrite it as RTH square is equal to RL square. So now if you take square on both the sides, it is like RTH is equal to RL. So you can transfer maximum power when only when RL is equal to RTH. Okay, so again, you keep it in mind, this RTH is fixed, only that RL is variable. This RL is variable, this is variable, and RTH is fixed. Okay, so what we have done, we have checked it analytically. Only when RTH is equal to RL, then only we can transfer the maximum power. Similarly, we will check it with the very simple example. These three cases we have checked, and with this three example also, we understood that only when RL is equal to RTH, we are able to transfer maximum power to the load. Okay, so same thing we have obtained using the expressions, obtained using the analytical method. Okay, now, so for this condition, we will write the power equation again. Already we have written the power equation as such, this one. Then you substitute RL is equal to RTH in this equation, or RTH is equal to RL in this equation. You will be getting the equation for the maximum power transferred. So the maximum power transferred is V square TH divided by 4 into RTH. So here, instead of RTH, you can also write RL. Okay, because RL is equal to RTH, so instead of this RTH, you can find RL. So here, the efficiency of the maximum power transfer theorem is 50% only. Okay, so this can be used only for communication perspective, and the same cannot be used for electrical system perspective or electrical power system perspective. Okay, so let us see this problem. In this problem, what we need to do is we need to transfer maximum power to this load resistance. This load resistance value we do not know. So in order to find the load resistance value, what we have to do is we have to find the Thevenin equivalent or Norton equivalent for this remaining circuit. Okay, so for this circuit, if you are finding the Thevenin equivalent, it will be coming like this. Then this will be RTH, right? So you have to bring this complete circuit to the Thevenin equivalent. Then you have to substitute this RTH for the RL, and you have to find the power consumed there. Or here they have asked you to find RL for maximum power transfer theorem. Obviously, only you can transfer maximum power when your RTH is equal to RL. So whatever the value you got it for RTH, that you can directly take it as RL in order to transfer maximum power. Okay, so this circuit, for finding the Thevenin equivalent, what do we need to do? First, we need to remove the load resistance. I have removed the load resistance here. Once I remove the load resistance, I am having the remaining circuit like this. Here I am having a voltage source with a resistor in series. So that I am changing that to current source with a resistor in parallel using source transformation technique. Then once I do that, I am getting one 6 ohm resistor and 12 ohm resistor here. Now you see a point here. Till now, whenever we were discussing about some current sources, we had seen that two current sources are in parallel. But if you see here, these two current sources are not in parallel. These two current sources are not in parallel because there is a resistor in series between these two sources. When there is a resistor in series between these two sources, you cannot consider that as a parallel element. So what you need to do, you have to further reduce this circuit. Here you are having 6 ohm and 12 ohm resistor in parallel. You reduce this for the parallel equivalent resistance, that is coming as 4 ohm here. That is 12 into 6 divided by 12 plus 6 as it is given here. So that will be coming as 4 ohm. I have drawn the equivalent circuit here. Okay, so now after this, what you can do, again you can do the source transformation for voltage source with a resistor in series. If you do like that, the voltage source with a resistor in series will be coming like this. Then you can see here that these two resistors are in series. Now you can find the equivalent resistance here. Okay, then you can again you can do the source transformation, and you can convert that to a current source with a resistor in series. Now resistor in parallel for the current source. Now you can see that two current sources are in parallel because there is no voltage drop between the starting element of these two sources. So these two are in parallel. Then you can find the equivalent current. Then you can find the voltage across this resistor. Okay, you can find like this. You can just apply the current whatever is available here, that has to flow through this path, since there is no path for the current to flow here. So 7 into this complete current will give the voltage. This voltage will be appearing across the terminals A and B, because there is no current flow. Since there is no current flow, there is no voltage drop across this. Okay, this is one way of finding. So but if you see here, we can able to find the solution here itself. Let me discuss about that. Okay, see, instead of solving this two circuits, you can find the voltage across this terminal here itself. Here, this is a current source. If you are having a current source, here there is no current path to flow, so no current will flow through this path. I is equal to 0. So the complete 2 ampere current should be passing through this path. Why it should be passing through that path? Because there is no other way for the current to flow through that. So the current through the current source cannot be changed. So the complete current should be flowing through this path. So if you apply KVL for this path, okay, what is the voltage here? Voltage here will be 14, because 2 ampere current is entering the 7 ohm resistor. So the voltage, so if you write KVL, both the things will be coming as voltage drop. Okay, because the current is entering the positive polarity, so you will be getting 14 volt across this 7 ohm resistor, and this is already 8 volt. So 14 plus 8 is nothing but 22 volt. So this is the voltage across the current source. Because you can see here that the resistor with the voltage source is in parallel with the current source. Okay, what I want to say here is, let me tell you again. Okay, so this 7 ohm, it's neither in series nor in parallel with this 2 ampere source. Similarly, this 8 volt source is neither in series not in parallel with this 2 ohm current, 2 ampere current source. But if you see, this 8 volt source and the 7 ohm resistor are connected in series. So the combination of this is parallel with the 2 ampere source. Okay, the combination of this is in parallel with the 2 ampere source. So whatever the voltage which is appearing across this two elements, that will be same as the voltage across this 2 ampere source, because those two are connected in parallel. Okay, so in that case you can find the voltage. Already I have told 2 ampere current is going to pass through this path. So the voltage across this 7 ohm resistor is 14 volt, and you are having 8 volt here. So 14 plus 8 is equal to 22 volt. It is both are voltage drop like this. So in that case, the voltage across this 2 ampere source is 22 volt. So that is the voltage across the V Thevenin. Okay, that is what I have found here. V Thevenin is equal to 22 volt. Okay, now this is for V Thevenin. For R Thevenin, what do we need to do? We have to collapse all the sources. So here we are having one voltage source that need to be short circuited. We have done here, and the current source should be open circuited. That is, the independent voltage source and current source should be collapsed. So that I have done here. So once I do it, I am having the remaining circuit like this. So this remaining circuit here, you can see that these two resistors are in parallel, because both of its starting terminal and ending terminals are same, and there is no voltage drop between any of those connections. So here 6 ohm and 12 ohm are connected in parallel, so you will be getting the equivalent resistance as 4 ohm. Okay, so if it is like that, then that combination will be having the resistance of 4 ohm. Then that 4 ohm value will be series with the 3 ohm resistor. Then again it is series with the 2 ohm resistor. You can just add all these three things, then you are getting R Thevenin as 9 ohm. So in this question, what they have asked, they asked you to find the value of RL for maximum power transfer theorem in the circuit. So in order to transfer maximum power to this RL, obviously you know that you should keep the value of RL as equal to the RTH. So you should keep the value of RL as 9 watts. So if you calculate the power transfer to that load, then VTH square divided by R 4 into RTH or RL. So 22 square divided by 4 into 9, you are getting 13.44 watts. This is the maximum power that can be dissipated across the load. Okay, So for maximum power transfer theorem, either you should do Thevenin theorem or Norton theorem. So you know that if it is a Norton theorem, you are going to have a current source with a resistor in parallel. Current source with a resistor in parallel. Just a minute. So if you have a Norton theorem, then you will be having a current source with a resistor in parallel. This is considered as R Norton. This is same as R Thevenin resistance. Okay, so it's obvious that you can use either Norton theorem or Thevenin theorem to find the maximum power transfer theorem. So you either find R Norton or R Thevenin. So you can find the value of RL, that is the load resistance. Okay, so when you want to find the power, then once you find it, actually, if you are having the let's say this is RL, and this is the R Norton, and if you are having a current source, so the power, let's say if this is 5 ampere, you know that this is R Norton, you know that these two resistance value are same. If the two resistance value are same, obvious that 2.5 ampere is going to flow through this path and 2.5 ampere is going to flow through this path. Then the power consumed in this thing is I square into R. You can directly find it out as 2.5 square into RL. Okay, so this is the way you can find through Norton theorem for the maximum power transfer theorem purpose. Okay, so you can use any method for your understanding for solving the circuit, but for this particular subject, when you are asked to find certain things, you have to follow that particular topic. Means if I am asking you to find the Norton resistance, you should follow the procedure for Norton resistance. Means suppose if I am asking you to find the Norton equivalent circuit, obviously you can find the Thevenin theorem first, then you can do the source transformation to find the Norton equivalent circuit. But whenever it is asked in this subject, you should follow only the Norton theorem procedure in order to find the Norton equivalent circuit. Okay, so this is about the maximum power transfer theorem. Let us see one more problem with dependent sources. So with that, we can complete this class. So consider this. In this, we need to find the RL in order to transfer the maximum power transfer to this load RL. So here we are having a dependent source. For that, the dependent source, it is uh, decided by the voltage across this, that is Vx. So first, what do we need to do for Thevenin theorem? We have to open circuit the load resistance, that is done here. Then what do you need to find? You need to find the voltage across this terminal VTH. Okay, so now if you see this circuit, the current can pass only through this circuit for this particular circuit. So you can apply KVL for this circuit, this path, let's say this one. You can apply KVL for this circuit. Then here current is entering the negative polarity. So you can consider it as a voltage rise, that is equal to sum of the drops, because the current is entering the positive polarity of this, that is considered as Vx here. Then current will be entering the positive polarity of this. Here we are getting 30 into I. Then here we are getting plus 3Vx plus, because the current is entering through this. Then if you reduce this, you will be getting 4Vx plus 30I is equal to 9 volt. So do we know Vx? Of course, we know the Vx, but even though we do not know the value, we know the Vx. Vx is nothing but 60 into I. Okay, 60 is the resistance, and the current flowing through that path is I. So that is given by 60 into I. Okay, here I have written Vx. Actually, Vx I have written the voltage across this terminal. Instead of writing Vx here, I can directly write it as 60 into I. Okay, similarly, when you write KVL, you will be writing it as 60 into I plus 30 into I plus 3 Vx. So for this Vx, you can substitute 60 into I, then you can proceed. Okay, so here I have substituted as common. So this Vx is 60 into I, that I have put here, 4 into 60 into I plus 30 into I. So I'm getting 240 into I plus 30I. So I'm getting I as some 0.033 ampere. Okay, so once I know the current which is flowing through this path. then obviously I can find the voltage across these two terminals. Okay, so VThevenin is equal to 30 into I plus 3 Vx. What I have done, I have the resistor here and I have the source here. Then I have the current coming through this path. This is 30 into 30 ohm. This is plus 3 Vx. So Vx is nothing but 60 into I. So this complete thing I can written it as 180 into I. Okay, or you can also write 3 Vx. I have explained in detail here. So this Vx is nothing but 60 into I. Okay, the current is entering here. The voltage across this 30 ohm resistor is 120 volt. The current is entering the positive polarity because the current, wherever current enters, we will consider it as a positive polarity. So here we are getting 30I plus 3 Vx because both are voltage drop because the current is entering the positive polarity. So you substitute for 3 into I here. I is nothing but 0.0333 ampere. So if you substitute that, we are getting 1. Then for this Vx we are going to replace it as 60 into I. So this I, you substitute the value here, then we are able to find that VTH as 6.994 volt. Okay, so this is for this case. Now this is for VThevenin. Okay, again it is simple KVL and KCL. Based on that only we can solve the circuits. Then the second is to find the RTH. For finding the RTH, we have to collapse the independent sources available in the circuit. So here you are having a voltage source. You have to collapse it. So you have to find the VTH. We have to find the RTH across this terminal. So again, here you are having a dependent source. Here, when you are having the dependent source, you cannot find the RTH directly. So in order to find RTH, what you have to do, you have to apply a test source of any magnitude. I am considering it as 1 volt. Then you can see the circuit. The remaining circuit is as it is. Okay. Now what I am doing, I am applying nodal analysis here in order to find the current here isc I need. So for that I am applying nodal analysis. Okay, so this is the voltage. So I'm considering current as coming out for all the nodes because there is no current source. So I am considering all the, for all the branches currents are going out. So if I want to mention the current flowing through this path, I have to write Vx minus 0 because I have to consider the reference node. I have to consider Vx minus 0 divided by 60 plus, this is the first path, Vx minus 0 divided by 60 plus V minus 3 Vx. This is the voltage source. So V minus 3 Vx divided by 30 ohm, that is the available in this path. Then V minus 1, that is this volt, divided by this 120 ohm. So that is given here. So sum of currents is equal to 0. So that is written here. Now you can just rearrange this equation. Then we need to consider only this Vx because here we are having two variables. One is V and another one is Vx. So here we are having two variables and we are having only one equation. We will not be able to solve it directly. So we can substitute for Vx here. What is Vx? Vx is nothing but 60 into some current, right? What is the current flowing through this path? So this 60 into V minus 0 divided by 60. Okay, so something 60 into I, so I will be getting 60 into Vx minus 60. Vx V minus 0 divided by 60. So I will be getting Vx is equal to V. Is it correct? I am getting Vx is equal to V. Is this correct? Can anyone answer? Can anyone answer? Is that correct or not? Megawatt Sindhuja? Megawatt Sindhuja, are you there? Faraz Shahim Shamim? Masura Begum? Mihir Oja?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you are here. Okay, fine. So I asked you a question, right? I asked you a question. Do you know the answer for it?
Sir, I need to check it, sir.
Okay. Mihir Oja, are you there? Mithilesh Kumar Yadav?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Muhammad Akib? Mukula Shanmukarao? Mukesh Kumar? Sriram? Nidhi Rai? Nitin Shukla? Pawar Ajay Pawan Kalyan? Piyush Patel? Pooja Gautam? Prachi Giri? Praful Jaria? Are you people are there? Priya Kumari?
Sir?
Okay. Priyanshu Gaur? Priyanshu Gaur? P- Rajat Bansal? Ravikant Yadav? Ritesh Raj? Ritik?
Yes, sir.
Rotu Pawan Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Rituraj Rathod?
Yes, sir.
So all of you came. So message is transferred in WhatsApp. So all of you came. Okay. Rituraj Rathod. Rituraj Rathod. Am I audible? Sachin? Sachin Kumar? Sachin Srinivas?
Yes, sir.
What is maximum power transfer theorem? I asked you only. What is maximum power transfer theorem?
Sir, the power is transferred maximum to the load when the resistance of the load is equal to the internal resistance of the circuit.
Mm-hmm. So you were available here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. No issues. Okay, fine. Thank you. It's already 3 o'clock. The first unit is over. Okay. Hereafter, I will not share any notes. If possible, you can collect it from your seniors. They would be having. Else, you take it from the video. You take snapshot of that video and take it. Okay. Thank you
Okay,
for
sir.
joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.